You are watching ABC7 News at 5:30.
Welcome back. Governor Scott is requesting that President Trump declare a pre-landfall emergency for Florida in preparation for Hurricane Michael.
This declaration for 35 counties, including Manatee, will provide important resources and assistance from the federal government, as well as free up funding resources for emergency protective measures. Let's get a check on the latest track of that storm with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob, what can you tell us at this hour?
You mentioned Manatee County. Manatee County is still under a tropical storm watch that has not been changed over to a warning as of yet, and that's a good sign, indicating that there's a potential that they may not see tropical storm force winds, but there's still some potential there. Here's the latest as far as the satellite imagery goes. Color enhanced satellite imagery. The pinks and the reds that you see, the dark reds, indicate the stronger and higher tops of the storms, and you can see it's still wrapping around the center. It's located just to the northwest of the western tip of Cuba, still over 500 miles south of Apalachicola. It's going to be moving over some very warm water, and that's the reason why hurricane warnings are up, and they could see a major hurricane make landfall sometime on midday Wednesday, it looks like now. The hurricane warnings in effect from the border of Alabama and Florida all the way over to the Swanee River. Those are hurricane warnings. Tropical storm warnings in effect just to the south thereof, and then we're under a tropical storm watch over parts of northern ends of Anna Maria Island, as well as into western portions of Manatee County on the coast there. There's a potential of getting tropical storm force winds, especially on through late Tuesday as the storm moves close to us, but it's still a long way away as far as the center goes. But with a westerly shear, there's going to be a little bit more action to the east of the center, and tremendous storm surge potential for the Big Bend area of the panhandle of Florida right now. Top winds expected on Tuesday to be up to 110, a category 2. This is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then by 2 a.m. on Wednesday should be a major hurricane by then, but I caution you and let you know that hurricane forecasting as far as intensities go, not always that reliable, but we do know we're going to be dealing with a hurricane as it makes landfall somewhere in the panhandle of Florida, possibly just to the west of Apalachicola. Everything to the right of the center is where the strongest storm surge is going to be, and there's some potential to get a 2 to 4 foot storm surge here into the coastal locations of Manatee County northward, maybe 1 to 3 south there in Sarasota and Charlotte Harbor. Again, there's pretty much remains very certain that the storm is going to move to the north into this weakness out ahead of this trough, and to the high pressure to the east of the state will direct it off to the north. So thankfully this timing of the trough is going to be delayed enough that we're not going to see that northeasterly turn like we saw with Hurricane Charlie back in 2004. There's all the forecast models all kind of clustered up as one, moving off to the northwest, then to the north, then to the northeast, somewhere from Alabama, or at least the western portion of the panhandle, all the way over to near the Big Bend area. And with this kind of storm, a little bit of shear in the atmosphere, it's going to blow some of these storms and stronger waves onshore. So we're going to deal with a high surf advisory, also coastal erosion. On top of that, isolated tornadoes not out of the question with these bands that will be coming through on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're not expecting an excessive amount of rainfall, maybe anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Some isolated areas could see more than that as some training occurs as the storm moves well west of us, but that potential is there for the isolated tornadoes. Definitely. We'll have windy conditions as well throughout Tuesday. We're talking about winds out of the east and southeast up to 20, 25 miles an hour, gusts as high as 30 throughout the day on Tuesday, with higher gusts near those storms that move on through. We'll have more a little bit later. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. Florida's Agriculture Commissioner is suspending pet and livestock movement requirements to help hurricane evacuations. During an emergency, the Florida Department of Agriculture provides necessary food and water to affected areas and helps protect animals and pets. By suspending the movement requirements, Floridians can quickly and safely move their pets and livestock out of harm's way. Now, even if you're not by the water, could the red tide toxins in the air be affecting your health? That's the question that Moat Marine Lab is trying to answer using a new air quality testing machine.
That's right. ABC7's Jackie Kelly talked with Moat and tells us just how this all works. Jackie, what can you tell us tonight?
Scott, Jacqueline, Moat says that they have 11 of these machines placed out throughout Sarasota, and they'll be checking on them every couple of hours. They say after a week long of collecting data, they should be able to tell if this is affecting our health. Asking Moat to study how prevalent red tide toxins are in the air.
They're interested in what people would be exposed to when there's onshore winds blowing the toxins onshore.
Moat saying they want to figure out if there are other ways red tide affects the body besides stinging eyes and a burning throat, and if breathing in the air has long-term effects.
It's serious for people with asthma, but people that are not compromised with their respiratory system, it seems to be a short term. However, there have been complaints of people with headaches or with flu-like symptoms after being exposed. Not everyone, but a minority of people do complain of that. So that's something that the Department of Health would like to look into.
The machines are located at Moat, Lido, and fire stations throughout Sarasota and are checked every 4 to 12 hours.
We put the filter on it and essentially the vacuum kind of traps it in, the toxins that we're seeing, and then we are going to do a chemical extraction to see exactly how much.
The machine tracks air as far as 7 miles inland.
We want to know like how far away it's going, if it's going, depending on the wind, depending on the currents. So just knowing like what level we have and how to better monitor it and how to prepare for that sort of interaction.
And Moat says they're not sure what they'll find.
There might be more than we anticipated, or there might be less. It really just depends on how we analyze it.
Now, Moat says once they're done collecting the data, they'll send it over to the Florida Department of Health to be analyzed. Now, they do say that Hurricane Michael may delay the testing a couple of days. Reporting live in Sarasota, Jackie Kelly, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Jackie, thank you. The commission investigating the Parkland High School massacre is postponing this week's scheduled meeting because of Hurricane Michael. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission announced today that this week's 3-day hearing will be rescheduled to an undetermined date. Some members are law enforcement, education, and state officials from the Florida Panhandle, where the storm is forecasted to make landfall by Wednesday. This week's meeting had been highly anticipated because the schedule promised testimony from Scott Peterson, the sheriff's deputy who did not rush into the building as the gunman killed 17 people back in February.
Here on the Suncoast, we're learning more about 16-year-old Jashad Spicer, the teenager who was killed in a car crash in Bradenton early Saturday morning.
Manatee County Sheriff's deputies say Spicer was driving the car and led them on a pursuit before crashing into a pole. ABC7's Taylor Torregano is live on 11th Avenue where that crash happened with more details about the pursuit and the victim. Taylor?
Jacqueline, Scott, you can see the devastation that still remains behind me. Deputies say that vehicle lost control just behind me, skidded and flipped, came to a rest all through here. Today, the family of the teenager who was killed tells me they are devastated. It started here on 17th Avenue West just before 3 a.m. Saturday morning. A deputy says he saw a car parked with its headlights off. Then 4 black males got inside. When he tried to pull them over, they took off, reaching speeds of 90 miles per hour. They drove 5 miles, then crashed.
They came from down there up to here. And if you could see these marks right here, coming like down into the post. And the marks, you could tell it's from the roof of the car.
The auto repair shop Charles Popovich owns was shut down all of Saturday. Police say after crashing, the driver of the vehicle fled while the other 3 people were detained. 16-year-old Jashad Spicer died at the scene.
He was not a troubled teen. He was not a teen that just went out looking for trouble. That wasn't him.
Altisha Lazier says her nephew was the sweetest teenager with a bright future. She says the boy she calls Peanut was merely caught up with the wrong people at the wrong time.
They made a really bad decision to leave home in the middle of the night following someone else. And he's never been in trouble.
His dream was to play football in the NFL.
All he wanted to do was go to college after this. That's why he did basketball. That's why he did football, to make it easier because his mom has 4 kids.
The struggling family now scrambling to lie a child to rest.
All I want to do is bury my nephew and get him the funeral that he deserved. That's all I want to do.
Now that family is raising money to pay for those funeral costs, and if you would like to donate, I've put a link on our website. Just visit mysuncoast.com. I'm live in Bradenton. Taylor Torregano, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Taylor, thank you. The future of education lies on the November ballot when you decide who will be Florida's next governor. ABC7's Alan Cohn joins us with the vastly different plans for each candidate. Alan?
Jacqueline, that's right. One candidate vows to cut administrative costs and put the savings into school choice programs, while the other wants to increase the corporate income tax rate to raise $1 billion for public schools. Both candidates say they would like to see more money go to the classrooms. Former Congressman Ron DeSantis plans to increase the cap for the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship, a program in place to help low-income children afford private schooling. Mayor Andrew Gillum wants to allocate as much funding to public schools as possible, accusing DeSantis of siphoning more money away from public schools and diverting it into the for-profit charter school system.
Just diverting any funds into charter schools or even private schools is fraudulent. It's false. It's wrong, because then you've got 95% of the public that aren't getting the resources that they do in fact need.
The privatization is not the right way to say it, in my personal opinion. I think it really is just an expansion of choice options that are customized education.
Hear more about what both candidates' plans and the experts have to say about them coming up tonight at 7. Back to you, Scott.
Alan, thank you. We'll see you tonight. A Booker High School student turned to art when a rare stomach ailment kept her home from school on and off for about 2 years. Her mother challenged her to find something else to do during her downtime. That's when she started working on her art skills again. Last summer, Nicole took second place in an art show among some of the area's best adult artists. This is the painting that turned some heads. It's called Rose Candy Apple of Fruit with a satin bow. And she also won other countywide student art competitions as well.
I was always kind of into art ever since I was little. And when I did have downtime, I used it to pursue the art.
Really just hoping after her surgery she would just be in the world again and amongst friends and school, and she's really excelled so much on all levels, and of course including her art.
As for the future, she'll always have art, but for now the Booker High School student is thinking about a future in medicine.
Some amazing paintings there. I'm impressed.
Yeah, very talented. Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, a rare disease that can leave its victims paralyzed. Why health officials are not sure what's behind the rise in cases.
Plus, could there be an insecticide in America's favorite drink? Why a lawsuit is bubbling up over LaCroix sparkling water.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Accords on sale is now during our model year-end sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for Accords, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Strong storm, the trees are down and the lights are out.
No air conditioning, no refrigerator.
I get how strong the storm was, but I need my power back.
We get it. We don't just work for FPL, we're customers too.
After a storm hits, restoring power safely and as quickly as possible is our #1 priority. That's why we never stop preparing. We have the best resources in place so we can be ready to respond in good weather and bad.
Storm season is here. We're ready. Are you?
a pop quiz. What's the best kind of play for kids? Play that makes us think? Or helps us pretend? Or teaches us rules? Or to be creative? Actually, every kind of play is important because different kinds of play give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
A surge in cases of a rare polio-like illness has baffled health officials. Since September, 6 children in Minnesota have been diagnosed with AFM. Meredith Wood has a closer look in today's Health Minute.
It's a rare disease that can leave its victims paralyzed.
Extremely emotional. Obviously, the world seemed like it was crashing down.
James Hill's son is one of 6 recently confirmed cases of the polio-like illness called acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM. Minnesota health officials say 6 children, all under the age of 10, have been diagnosed. They're also trying to figure out what's behind the rise of AFM cases in the last month.
We usually would see, 0 to 1 case in a year.
The condition affects the body's nervous system, targets the spinal cord, and could lead to paralysis. Symptoms include muscle weakness, facial drooping, and trouble swallowing or talking. If you see any of those symptoms, doctors urge you to seek medical care as soon as possible. Currently, there's no cure for AFM, and the exact cause isn't known either. But health officials do know that AFM can develop from a viral infection and urge parents to take precautions.
Good hand washing, coughing into your elbow, covering your cough, making sure if you're sick you stay home, making sure that you're up to date on your vaccinations.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, if you're just getting home from work or picking the kids up, I tell you, we've got a lot going on here. Not as much as they're going to see in the Panhandle, but obviously we have some storm risks with this one. As far as the tornado possibility goes, if we do get some feeder bands that could move through, they have the potential for producing isolated tornadoes. We'll put that in the medium category. As far as the sustained damaging winds, that's in the low category right now. We're still under a tropical storm watch over parts of our area. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the storm surge, we're going to keep that in a medium level as far as that goes. We could see some storm surge causing some coastal flooding from the barrier islands all the way into, again, well north of us is going to be much more significant, obviously, but we will see the potential for 1 to 4 foot storm surge. You go higher as you get into Manatee County into Anna Maria Island, and rip currents are definitely a possibility. There's going to be a lot of folks out there surfing as a result of the heavy waves that we're already starting to see. We'll have some pictures of that coming up at 6. You can see from the satellite imagery, the review, this is looking a little bit better organized, even on the western edge, which has been sheared pretty heavily. Despite that shear, the storm has still grown in intensity and the pressure has dropped. Reconnaissance aircraft indicating the pressures have dropped. Now, this is the latest as far as hurricane warnings go. From the border of Florida and Alabama all the way over to the Swanee River is a hurricane warning now, a hurricane watch in effect for the areas out ahead of that. We are under a tropical storm watch for parts of our viewing area, and that includes the western portions of Manatee County, also Anna Maria Island, and out here in the blue you see that's for the waters, the coastal waters of Sarasota County. So out here anywhere you could see tropical storm force winds. There's a potential thereof. It's not a warning yet. We'll see how that goes. And the good news is that they didn't upgrade that to a warning with this last advisory. You can see it's a Category 1 now. The winds have increased to 80 miles an hour, and the gusts are as high as 100. At one point on Wednesday morning, could be gusts as high as 150 miles an hour. And it has all this time to gather water near the center, so the storm surge risk is extreme across parts of the Big Bend area from Apalachicola basically eastward to the Swanee River. And then it eventually brings heavy rainfall, and flight delays too are going to be a problem in Georgia, especially on in through looks like Wednesday for the most part and into Thursday. The winds won't be all that strong here. We're looking for sustained winds around 20 to 25. We'll have gusts higher though with the individual showers and storms that may pop up. It's not going to be an all-day rain. We'll see periods of showers and maybe some isolated thunderstorms as some of that moisture works its way into Michael as it moves to the Gulf of Mexico. And then eventually our winds will switch around more to a westerly direction, southwesterly direction beginning on Wednesday. That's when we're going to start to see some of that water pile up too. As the storm gets to our latitude and then moves northward, we're going to start to see more of a west to southwesterly wind. That will pile the water up on area beaches and cause some coastal flooding concerns here. There's really no doubt that it is going to move northward. It's not, the center of the storm is not going to have a big right shift and head toward us like we saw with Charlie, but all the forecast models are in pretty good agreement with this, that it is going to move in a northerly direction, that eventually northeast once that trough catches up to it over the west United States. So we have periods of showers, as I said, on again and off again. Right now, pretty calm out there as far as any rainfall goes. And as far as the forecast goes, well, here it is. For the next 7 days, a good chance for showers and storms. We could even see some sun occasionally tomorrow. It will be breezy, as I mentioned, up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. Still some storms on Wednesday, even into Thursday lingering. And then temperatures into the mid to upper 80s for the next 7 days or so. Well, much more coming up at 6. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Let's take a look at your first alert traffic for the drive home. We are seeing some backups on US 41 in Bradenton between 53rd Avenue West and Bayshore Gardens Parkway. Scott?
In consumer news tonight, one of the nation's most popular beverage companies facing a lawsuit. LaCroix Sparkling Water under fire for claiming its products are all natural. According to a class action lawsuit, the beverage includes a number of artificial ingredients, including one found in cockroach insecticide. The suit also claims that LaCroix makers were aware of the unnatural ingredients. LaCroix's parent company, National Beverage Corporation, denies the allegations and stands by its claim that its sparkling waters are 100% natural.
Best Buy wants to carve out a niche as a retail leader in digital health, especially for older Americans. The tech retailer appointed a veteran healthcare executive to its board of directors last week. This after the company announced in August it would buy Great Call for $800 million. Great Call makes Jitterbug cell phones designed with big buttons and bright screens for senior citizens. It also makes medical alert devices that can detect falls and call for help. The deal is expected to clear in the next few months. It would be the largest in Best Buy's 52-year history.
It's getting tougher to find 0% interest deals for new cars. With interest rates on the rise, car companies have started pulling back. No interest loans made up less than 3.5% of all new car deals last month. That's down from about 10% of deals just 2 years ago.
Well, stay with us. Entertainment news is coming up next.
32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
The body, it is a work of art and a powerful ally in the fight against cancer. A new approach called immunotherapy works by helping our immune system correctly identify and eradicate many types of cancer cells. Speak with your doctor and visit su2c.org/immunotherapy to learn more. Your body might just be your greatest hope.
Introducing the ABC7 First Alert Weather Tracker. This all-new mobile weather lab is just one more way. The team you trust is keeping you ahead of the storms. The ABC7 First Alert Weather Tracker, sponsored by Mr. Sparky, America's on-time electrician.
In entertainment news, a rap festival in downtown Atlanta ended in chaos Sunday night.
Take a look at this cell phone video that shows the wild scene at the A3C festival.
Yo, I think somebody shot up the Lil Wayne concert. Yo.
The police said the headliner, Lil Wayne, was on stage when someone yelled that they heard gunshots. That's when everybody took off running in all directions. The person filming incorrectly claims that someone shot up the Lil Wayne concert. Police and concert organizers say there was some sort of argument, but there's no evidence to support claims that shots were fired. About a dozen people were slightly hurt in that panic.
Hope Hicks is joining a rebooted Fox News. Hicks will be Fox's new executive vice president and chief communications officer. That means she'll run public relations along with other aspects of the company. It's part of assets being spun off into a smaller organization as Disney buys much of 21st Century Fox, but not the news channel. Hicks served as the White House communications director from August of last year until she resigned in February. She was one of the president's longest serving and closest aides. Before that, she worked in New York for Trump's presidential campaign.
Well, Taylor Swift is brushing aside her usual silence on politics. Yesterday, she threw her support behind two Democrats running for Congress in Tennessee. Swift said on Instagram she used to stay away from politics, but some events over the past 2 years have made her speak up. She said she wants to support candidates who fight for LGBTQ rights and against discrimination and racism. In her post, Swift also urged her young fans who have not registered to vote to do so.
Ansel Elgort is going from driving to singing and dancing. The Baby Driver star has been cast as Tony, leader of the Jets, in Steven Spielberg's big screen take on West Side Story. He's stepping into some big shoes here. The original 1957 Broadway musical won 2 Tony Awards, and then the 1961 film won 10 Oscars, including Best Picture. But I guess if anyone can get in that kind of competition again, it's Steven Spielberg. And I love Ansel Elgort. He's a great actor.
That'll be great to see. Well, stay with us. We'll be right back with more news and weather after the break.